Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of these, but first we're going to be taking a look at Gaudenter, which is from GigaPower, and this is Jason, also known as Omnus Prime. And let's go ahead and take a look at the box here for Gaudenter. Gaudenter is also known as Swoop. This is a Masterpiece style G1, which is Generation 1 Transformer styled figure here. This is not official, it's a third party, and it's going to be Masterpiece scaled, and this one comes in blue. There's also a red version if you want to be a little bit more toy accurate. And there we have them in alt mode, and here we have them in bot mode. Wings all flying straight up there. All right, taking a look here at the back of the box, we do have a description of how they see Gaudenter, and also some pre-production photos here. As you can see, he can hold his swords. It comes with a pair of them. And we're going to see the different accessories. And this one's a bit different than the other Gigasaurs that were released by GigaPower. All right, now taking a look at this guy. This one's very special to me because when I grew up, when I was in Okinawa, this is what my first Diaclone was. Swoop. Yep, Swoop. And I got this one. This is the same original one, so I played with this a lot. The chrome's faded. You can see that the clear plastic is kind of fogged over from just time. Father Time's had done a lot of a lot of damage to this guy, but everything still functions. I don't have any of the weapons, but you can see that one of the features was he had wheels that came out so he can land here, and the wings folded up on itself, and the mouth could open, and you could pretend that, you know, he's breathing fire as he's flying and just breathing fire out into his own face. He's flying. But transformation is really simple. You know, you just fold the legs down, slide them in, roll the feet out from the back, and then you just pull the torso apart so that you can guide the pterodactyl head down into the center, kind of like a seeker, and then pull the arms out to the side and then extend them. And there he is. Swoop in bot mode, Generation 1 style. And you can see there's a lot of features on this guy that looks like Gaudenter that we have back there. And side by side, they look great. And so this is like my first Transformer, as it were. And this is him brought in a Masterpiece scale. And if you want to have the same look as the toy, this is how you do it. You can replace this one. But I do like the chrome gold on here. But if you want to have it looking more accurate to the toy, you can do that here. There's also, you can see the painted detail of the eyes, and you can open his mouth up. And just like the gold one that's there, if you use a spudger here, you can get this out. It's got a cannon here, so while he's flying and breathing fire, he just can fly right into the own flames in his own face. This is what you would use as the connector here for the head, and you just replace that out. And here's the head replacement. If you want to have him with a scowling, like, I don't know, it's a weird face, but he has the red eyes here. It's more of, I guess, an angry face. But here's the accessories I had mentioned earlier. Swords. They both light up here. They're both the same. But it's well sculpted, and I do like them. And I like the handles that they have, aside from the handles that you actually use. And they can snap into these, and this will connect right into the back. So if you want to store his swords, this is where you would store them in bot mode. And they just snap right in there. It's a plastic that's easy to use for that. Now, this is a remote that you can use. It's got two buttons here, and you're like, why do I need a remote for this guy? That doesn't make any sense. Well, glad you asked. So it comes with this flight stand base. And on the flight stand base, You have these areas here where you can store the swords. The remote has nothing to do with those, but it does have to do with these. You get 2 lights that require batteries. I don't have batteries in here, but you can position them however you want. They have different sections here to where you can put the lights in, and the remotes work with that. But the other thing that you can do here is you can remove these 2 panels. You just flip it over and push them out. And using a spudger for the top one makes it easier. And once you get these plates off, you can place the flight stand, or the, I don't know, it's like a crane arm. They just snap in, and you have locking mechanisms here, so you can get them into a fixed position of however you wish. And here's a locking mechanism here for this part of it. And you can just jam this up in between his legs. There's a little slot in there. So he's kind of spread eagle here, and you can lock him onto the stand here. I don't use this for that. But hey, it's something you can do if you want to have him standing with a post up his posterior, looking all proud. But it is really sturdy. I'll give it that. This is not how I would display swoop. Even if he were standing, behind the other Gigasaurs. Yeah, Gaudenter. Sorry, we're not going to be using bot mode. But this is if he's going to be on pterodactyl mode. You'll be able to go ahead and use that, and it just slots into here on the chest. And I'll show you when we get there how you can use that. These are his missiles that you can also use these handles here to put them in his hands if you prefer. I never saw him use these in the cartoon in that way. I always saw them posted here on the wings, and that's how I prefer to have them displayed. For scale, we do have the other Dinobots in the back, but he's on this platform. So we have MP44, we have skids, so you can see the differences in height. And here's RC. She's a little bit taller than the traditional Carbots. Those 3 are official. And here he stands with G1 Swoop. And you can see quite the difference here, of course. And here's Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus is taller than Gaudenter here, and I think that's how it should be anyways. Swoop was always the shorter one. Let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Head goes a full 360. Goes a little bit down, not much, and a little bit up. It is on a ball joint on there. And for the shoulders, it gets out that far. It's not quite 90, but it's close enough. To rotate it around, you're going to need to move the wings. The wings are able to be articulated in pretty much any direction that you need to, and you can get a full 360 here. You get the bicep swivel, and you do get a lot more than 90 degrees, which is not as much as, say, like Saltus, their MMC Springer, but you get quite a bit there. And you get 360 with the wrist. And these hands are closer to what they did with Superador, their Grimlock, although this is more of a smaller scale. You do get a waist rotation. It's just that it kind of breaks the sculpt here. You got to move the dino head out of the way. But you do get a little bit of motion there if you need it. The flaps they clear without actually making contact with the dino head here. So be careful in how you position the waist, because that would make it contact. But you can see that this guy's waist is not like Gravitors. There's a lot more strength in them to hold his legs. Now, of course, Gaudenter's legs are much smaller, but even with the friction hinge, it holds pretty well. You do have rotation here at the thigh, And then you do get 90 degrees here, and you can see that they built it out so that it's not ugly with the knee joint there. The rocker on here, it's not much on here to speak of, but I believe that's to do with making sure that Gaudenter was actually able to be balanced when he stands. Because as far as like the other dinos that are there, the other dinos all have these large legs to balance them. And we got Gaudenter with these big wings, they're heavy. So it's just a way of, I believe, keeping balance. And as I mentioned, with the wings, you get a lot of articulation on here. You can pretty much get whatever pose that you need to out of it. And they collapse down really well. He's a very clean mold, and let's go ahead and get him into transformation. So I like to start with the arms, typically. And then we make a fist. Our favorite is to open this up and then tuck it in there. All right, you just got to make sure it's got clearance and rotate it in, and this will close up nice and easy. I said nice and easy. Hold on a sec here. All right, so this clip has got to go into that hole there, that slot. Okay, so when you get this down, you're going to do the same on the other side. And Gaudenter's transformation is actually really simple compared to the other Dinobots. And I know that they weren't all that complicated either for the most part. This one should go easier. You just connect that into the slot. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's a little top heavy, like I'd mentioned. So you rotate the biceps in, and you got the sculpt, and you just slide the arms up. And these are going to compress inside the body here. Let me go ahead and get this rotated around so you can see here. This is going to go ahead and connect in. There's a little post that's going to go into a hole at the top of the crest of his head. And you have the head formed. And then there's an extended neck here that you would be able to rotate the head up. And that creates a gap to where you can go ahead and close and collapse this here towards the center. There's a couple plastic pieces here that form like a rail system that you're going to move that along. So just be careful and make sure that you're on that rail. Now the arms are able to compress inside, and when you compress, that pushes the flanks of like where it would be like the ribs would be into it itself. And for the wings, you just expand them out, and I just like to get them out of the way here. Nice and easy. And look at all that chrome. I mean, it's beautiful. You fold the tail out. Now back here on the legs, on the back of the thighs, you just open this up here, these couple panels. This will allow the leg to rotate up, and you're just going to rotate them up on the back. And you have these posts here, they're going to connect into these holes that are on this centerpiece, kind of like a spine. You're going to open up these flaps here, and then put the feet in. This is a lot like the G1 that I showed you. You fold the heels in to the foot, and then you collapse the feet in. It's like 2 hinges here that you have to work with to get this to go in. And this one's being stubborn. Hold on. Okay. And then you just close the flaps down, and you're just going to lift. And then you're going to get these into position, line them up, and then you're going to make it easy, you just line them up, and then you can sandwich them together at the same time. I just need some extra room here. Okay, once you have that all closed up, down here you just pull the rear talon out and then close up these flaps here to complete the legs for the dyno mode. And with this, what's really cool is you do get some articulation here with the toes or claws, talons, what have you. And there's a lot of articulation you can do here with the head. Mouth opens. Using a spudger, you'll be able to get the cannon to come down. And I always thought, he breathes fire, not like it's a laser cannon. But yeah, he's fit to fly. He has claw hands that are on the wings. They're painted a silver instead of being chromed. So it's some people may not like that, but I prefer that. If you're going to manipulate it, it's one less thing you have to worry about any chrome rubbing off of. But there's a lot of posability here with the wings. You got to remember putting the missiles here because that's part of the look here for Swoop. He always has these on there. Sorry, I'm getting out of focus. And here are the silver painted hands. Each one of the fingers are individually articulated, so you can kind of get them how you want. But it's either up or down. It's not anything else you can really do with them. I mean, they're dino hands for a flying pterodactyl. What else are they supposed to really do? But yeah, he can also stand in this mode. He doesn't need any additional help. You do have to balance him, so being able to rotate the legs out to get more of a wider base for a stance really helps out. But you can see that this thing is beautiful. The chrome is held up over years of owning this. The paint job's spectacular. And, this is just perfect, to match up with the toy aesthetic. And I know a lot of people are looking for more of a toon look, but I like the added details that these have. It feels like something that you would find in the real world. So this is my favorite Swoop toy that's been made. And with him on the flight stand here, you can see that it looks beautiful on here. You can get pretty much whatever pose that you need to get out of him. The wings, you can reposition them however you wish. There's a lot of dynamic poses that you can get him into. The head for the dyno mode does turn. I'll show that later here. But with him armed up with the missiles, unfortunately, there's not a way to get the swords on here that I've found that are practical for the dyno mode. But the cartoon rarely saw him with the sword anyways. For me, he was always a scout. He was the one that had flight capabilities, and that's why I picked him when I was a kid. Out of the options available when I was in Okinawa, we went to the store. It was like a green building, and my dad was like, "I can pick one," and I just flying dinosaur. What kid doesn't love a flying dinosaur? But let's go ahead and see about getting him transformed back up into bot mode. So, sorry, there's an annoying fly that was let in by my kids while we were getting groceries in. So, I'll get that fly later. But you open these panels back up, you fold the talons in. The talons here, there's a gap here at the bottom of the legs when you roll them back in that those will slot into. And it's a little scary when you first have to do this here to go ahead and get them unplugged from that spinal area. Fortunately, when you're undoing this, it's not likely that you're going to scrape against anything back here. It doesn't give that far. And you just get that plugged into the slot, and then you just close up the back of the thighs. it's hard to mess this part up. It aligns itself really easily. And that's all closed up. You open up these flaps and you just rotate down on that hinge to get the feet out, get the heel out. Do the same on the other side. This one gave me trouble getting in. It's a little bit tighter than the other side for some reason. All right, and flip the tail up. And just getting the wings out of the way. Yeah, you can leave the missiles on here if you need to transform them and want to leave them on. You don't have to take them off. And pull the arms out here in just a moment. There's buttons here on the chest that are used to go ahead and get the flank out. Sorry, that was in there a little tight. All right, so I'll show you here in a moment. I'm just trying to get the arms out of the way. So you do have to give it a little bit of a yank. And then split the center. Keep pressing these buttons here. There's a part that collapses in on the chest where the arms go. And when you press those buttons, it's supposed to eject out the sides that are left in. Let me go ahead and undo this here so we can get the head back into place. Extend the arms, rotate the bicep out to align the arms correctly. Open the flap here. You can get the fists out. Rotate the fist to get it into place. Same on the other side here. All right, there we go. As you can see on the inside where the ribs are, it's kind of compressed in. There's these buttons that you press to get the to extend out. And here you place the swords here on these clips. And just post it up in the back here. And here he is with everyone that was in what I call the second shuttle here from the movie. So I like that we have everyone together here. You can see we got all the different characters represented here. Even Wheelie back here on Grimlock. But we didn't really see them in this mode. We saw them in Dino mode for the most part in the movie, with the exception of Swoop transforming back and forth the most. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed what you saw here. And here we have them in Dino mode. They all look great together. They all scale really well. And I really love the set here. We got Fans Toys mixed in here with X-Transbots, with Keith's Fantasy Club, which is basically X-Transbots. But we have them all together here, and they all look good together. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. But otherwise, see you later.